How y'all doing today? Just bringing some Killer Instinct gameplay while I talk about what I want to talk about. Um, Today I want to talk about games I believe Microsoft should bring back that need a sequel, because they have a ton of IPs with they have classic IPs, a lot of IPs that they're just sitting on, that I believe that Xbox One could bring out a bunch of new exclusives. And I want to see what these are my top 10 that I want to see come back. My first one is gonna be a real good game, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think they need to bring that game back. That thing needs a true sequel, not a remake. They need to up on that, because that game would sell consoles to me. Like, we need more platformers on Xbox One. It seems like it's turning into a shooter fest, which I don't mind. I like shooters, but you need a bunch of different things, like RPGs and platformers, racing games, all of it. You need all of it. So that was my number one game that I want to see. My next game I want to see is Banjo-Kazooie, or Banjo-Tooie, whatever you want to call it, the next one. Because Nuts and Bolts was not a real sequel to either one of those games. It was a car simulator driving in this empty ass land game. And I mean, it was a good game. The graphics and everything were good, but it just wasn't a platformer at all. It was more of a just drive this place, build a plane, fly over here, that type of game. I don't want that. That's not the Banjo-Kazooie game that I grew up with. That's not the game I want to see. Alright, my next game I want to see is Jet Set Radio. Man, that game was awesome back in the day, when the first Xbox came out, and when it came out on Xbox Arcade. If you never played that, go pick that up. It's probably cheap, but that game is really good. It's like, it was different. The art style was awesome. I mean, that could be a good Xbox One exclusive to have a Jet Set Radio 2. My next one is Black and White. That game came out on PC, I believe, by Lionhead, and that game looked like it was really fun. I didn't really got to play it, but it was like you were God and you had to tell the villagers to do things, and it seemed like that game would make sense with the Connect. I don't see why not have Lionhead make that. They are making Fable, and that looks kind of fun, so why not have them do that too? My next game that I want to see is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That game is a classic game that needed a sequel. It didn't get a lot of attention, but that game was just a straight up fun game. It was over the top, shooting zombies with squirt guns and things like that, trying to save all the people in the neighborhood. My next game that I think needs a sequel, or it needs to be an Xbox One exclusive, is Blinks the Cat. That game had a very good concept, but it wasn't done right to me. And by the time they made a 2, the 360 was getting ready to come out, and nobody even really cared about it. Xbox wasn't popular enough for it to get some momentum, but I think now that Xbox is a big name, I think they can bring it back and it could do good. Maybe reboot the series. Another game that I think needs a sequel is Blue Dragon. I think that needs a Xbox One exclusive, or just needs a remake, because that game was really good. It was an RPG. It was a simple RPG. It wasn't too bad. It was a good entry level RPG, and it had a great story. It was made by the people who made Dragon Ball Z, so I think that was a really good game that deserves a sequel. My next game I think is good is Brute Force. It was like a tactical shooter back in the day. Me and my dad used to love playing that game. And it never got a sequel, and it should. And it was a Microsoft IP that had good potential, and I thought they should bring it back. Another game that a lot of people forget about is Jade Empire. That's a game that I really love. It was real good by BioWare, but it was still good. And the last game before we cut off, I want 1 versus 100. That was a very unique game, and a lot of people loved it. Just bring that back. So that was all I got. Y'all have a good one.